Hello, welcome to my multidimensional channel. What did I just say? Welcome to my multidimensional living room. I mean, it started as a art salon, but then I just started pronouncing living room and I was impressed, surprised by how the words change and how the meaning of the channel has changed consequently. I'm gonna be painting energies, and those that speak to me, I'm gonna paint here. And if they speak to you, and if they help you organize yourself, navigate your life, orient yourself. You see, like my words, okay, all right, this is gonna be really interesting. I'm really curious what else is gonna come out, because I didn't mean to say organize yourself, orient yourself. If it helps you orient yourself, navigate your life, understand yourself and love yourself and those around you a little bit better, then that's great. And if it doesn't, then it's for or from somebody else. Use your intuition, use your discernment, listen to your body. And keep in mind that not everything makes sense always. Sometimes it doesn't need to make sense, but sometimes it's up to you to see how it actually fits with where you are, who you are in this moment of time while watching this reading or this painting. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. So I get the dice roll 4. What does number 4 represent to you? In this dot, I'm seeing speeding up, but not like a speeding up of events around you. It's not like the world spins faster than usually. It's not like something that will take you by surprise. Speeding up in terms of how fast do you catch up with yourself. Your higher self is sending you bits and pieces of information and frequencies that you can embody and integrate within yourself or recognize. And it communicates with you through everything and everybody around you. And I'm seeing the speed up of how well you're able to catch it and implement it and act upon it and live it. And as you're living it, as you're recognizing it, and you're putting it in practice, there's also a question of, why didn't I see that before? Why didn't I do it yesterday? Yeah. Here. And as you're asking this question to yourself, like, why didn't I do it yesterday? I sense that are really being a thing. Dealing with what has been, dealing with that person that you've been up until yesterday, but today you're not that person anymore. Yeah. I'm feeling, seeing, sensing, encountering teenage vibe. The vibe of being a teenager. Is there something like an eternal teenager? This might be a continuation of the energy that I covered in, I believe it was a previous painting. The one with the mountaintop. I'm gonna link it. It's like at one stage in life you get a chance to finish your childhood, to learn to love yourself, to get that love that you ideally were supposed to be given by your caretakers, or that ideal level of love. You learn to get it from yourself. You learn to establish that love, find that frequency of love in the world, in the life, and then after you graduate being a child, then there is a next level. And the next level is being a teenager when you're not a child anymore. But you're not an adult either. That space in between one life chapter that makes sense and another life chapter that makes sense. There is a life chapter of, this doesn't really make sense. Yeah. Is this chapter of awkwardness when you don't know who you are, you don't have your boundaries in place because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want, you don't know who you want to be, you don't know where to go, you don't have a sense of direction. Any direction is possible, but none of them is, yeah. You don't have a sense of clarity, and I don't think you should have at this point. That's why this point is so interesting. Because due to lack of boundaries and lack of the structure of yourself that is explored into which direction is about to be formed, what you do know is your capacity and your limits, they're being stretched, overburdened. Like, you definitely know what you can't handle anymore. You definitely know what you can't tolerate anymore. You definitely know what is pressuring you. And you definitely know a direction of where you don't want to be anymore. Which might put you in a space of feeling a certain way, needing a certain thing. Asking for direction. Declaring a sense of, I'm lost, please help. I'm getting that teenage vibe also being in the adulthood as well, where you can be 33 years old, you can be 54, or you can be 76, and still find yourself in moments of it's a little bit uncomfortable. Because you're not that person that you've been until yesterday, but you're also not that person that you're expecting to become tomorrow. And in the meantime, it's a little bit of like friction energy of like, I don't know where to go, I don't know where to be, please help. Somebody, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And I'm getting this, I'm getting this vision of a braid that you do with hair that I could be doing another day. But not a classic braid of 3, where you have 3 of, how do you call that piece of hair? Brahmin. I dream about a day when I'm going to be able to fully and eloquently express myself in whatever language that I'm speaking. Until then, I will improvise. So there's a braid, there's like a piece of hair, and like the classic one has 3 of them that you put one on top of another. But here I'm seeing 4 of them. And even to people like who know how to do braid with the 3, the 4 might be a little bit abstract of like, oh, I don't know how to do it, but it's very simple. And in this space that I'm having here, that braid represents 2 of them are being here, 2 pieces of hair being here, and 2 pieces of hair being here. You're standing here, the observer of you, the self behind the self, your higher self, your universal self, is in the middle, navigating it all. Where I'm sensing you being is feeling uncomfortable with what happened yesterday, what happened 8 years ago, things that you said when you were much younger. fear of consequences for being that person that you were up until yesterday, but you're not a person today anymore. Feeling a little bit of a cringe, shame, discomfort, unacceptance, rejection, discomfort with sitting with that person that you've been up until yesterday. And here on this side, you have this future self that you're looking up to, the future self that is calling you to embody it. Just do it. And you start doing it, and you're like, wow, why haven't I done that yesterday? Here is a beautiful space of loving your yesterday self and loving your 8 years back ago self who did and said whatever they did and said. Because these people that you've been up until yesterday, they brought you into being who you are today. You wouldn't be able to feel that cringe, to feel that discomfort, to have that consciousness that you would never be that person that you've been up until yesterday. You wouldn't be able to come to the point where you are now. You wouldn't be able to even tap into who you are in the future, or who you are downloading into physical form through embodying those bits and pieces that your higher self is giving to you. You wouldn't be able to do that unless you did that cringy thing yesterday, unless you did that or said that thing 8 years ago. So be thankful to those parts of you that did whatever they did. No matter how messy, no matter how cringy, no matter how embarrassing, no matter how mean, no matter how... whatever they did, however you judged them. Thank them for being exactly that. Not any better, but exactly that as they were. Because of them, you are where you are and who you are. And because of them, you're able to connect with your future self. And now on this middle point of being today and right now, as you forgive and thank your previous self, you also embody a little bit of your future self in today. With that awareness that your current energy, the energy that you're showing up in today, the energy that you are bringing into this moment, is defining who you are becoming in the very next moment, and in the next moment, and in the next moment. And so the now moment that you are in the next moment becomes the past moment. And so just like you would do a braid, you have one movement that scoops the past self and loves it into acceptance of the present. And then you're in the present embodying the future self and becoming that future self. And then the moment moves into the next loop of the braid. And this whole section of that one layer of the loop becomes the past moment. And now that's the past moment that you need to love and thank and forgive and accept that it created the current present moment. And then from the current present moment, you scoop a little bit of the future self, you show up as it in the present moment so that you get to that future self, and then it goes in a loop again and again and again. I'm also getting a vision of chocolate bar being broken in half. That's the master vision that now can be decoded into further explanations. The chocolate bar stands for something sweet, like a sweet spot, comfort zone. That might be literally anything to you. Circumstances that you're living in, the current belief system that makes you you, the grudges you're holding against somebody for the past 17 years. An idea about something being exactly as it appears to be. Yeah, I see that being broken into pieces. And so what happens when you break it into pieces, when you break a chocolate bar into pieces, is that it's easier to consume it. It's easier to eat it. So you break it so you can eat it or share it. That applies onto something being broken down so that you can see what makes it. And you can also now see how you can actually integrate it into your being or whatever you're doing and live off of it. Ultimately, the ultimate example of this energy is you realize that whatever you've ever been through, all the hardships, all the drama, everything that was too much, everything that was not Instagrammable, everything that was, you name it, everything that made you question why me, everything that you ever complained about, everything that you ever resented living, everything that was ever difficult, and everything that ever left some sort of a lasting impression on you, or a scar, better said. Everything that was kind of like you wish it didn't happen, everything that made you uncomfortable going through it. It's this final ultimate realization that it all happened so that you can utilize it in order to teach, help, invent, create, reinvent, alchemize, heal, make something out of it. Yeah. I'm getting an example. This example actually surprised me that it's still very much present in the air, because it surprised me because I was holding this, I wouldn't call it a limiting belief, but it's an illusion of some sort. And that is that when you personally go through something and you resolve it for yourself, and then you keep moving on with your life, and you never encounter that issue ever again, you assume that if you have resolved it for yourself, then maybe everybody else resolved it too. So what used to be a problem for you, you realize that you assume that it's not a problem for anybody else anymore. But then you get surprised to see that what used to bother you 10, 15 years ago is now still bothering somebody else. For example, one person is being depressed, and the other person thinks that this person who is depressed is actually just lazy. They just don't want to go to work. And now they're using depression as an excuse, and they probably just seek attention, and it's toxic. And this person also feels like, what am I supposed to now feel empathy for them? This kind of an attitude. And then that person who doesn't have or doesn't want to have empathy for the depressed person over time experiences depression on their own. And then they realize that actually while you're depressed, yeah, that judgment that you were holding against the depressed person isn't fair. And that person experiences depression themselves, and then they can see both sides of the coin. They can see how is it to be depressed, what works and what doesn't, and they also know how is it to be judgmental toward depression. And now by being in this, by having this sweet spot, this comfort zone of believing that when you're depressed that you just need a little bit more discipline and you just need to push through and stop faking, that is broken. And now that person can claim it for themselves and see both sides of the chocolate bars. They can't use that to raise awareness about depression, for example. Or they can use that to actually give empathy to others. It's like that person doesn't even need to be in the position of like teaching others how to get out of the depression, but they can again come across somebody who is depressed and this time around not judge them but actually empathize with them. Thinking about which other example do I want to give, because I see a few of them. I think I'm going to use this one. This is a personal one. That's why I'm also weighing a little bit. Do I want to share it or do I want not? I do. So, I used to be allergic to the statement, please like, share and subscribe. I cannot politely describe how much I absolutely despised hearing it, especially when you're listening a lot of YouTube videos per day and you hear that sentence over and over again. Sometimes it's a vibe killer. People really don't know how to respect the vibe of the video. You know, they make meditation video and then after 1 hour of meditation they add this joyful, loud, please like, share and subscribe, which totally wakes you up, kills the vibe. Sometimes people do it in a way that it's just it's demanding. Sometimes it shows the scarcity of needing you to participate in a way that maybe you would organically, but when you see them how desperately they need it, it kind of just like it's very repulsing. It used to be repulsing to me. I hated hearing it. And when I started my own YouTube channel, the other one, I declared I will never pronounce that sentence myself. And on my other channel, you will never hear it. But when I started this channel, I realized how important it is actually to drive people into using those buttons down there, because not everybody are actually doing it, and it does impact the growth of the channel, and the growth of the channel then does impact where my life is going. And I was really certain where I want my life to go, but in order to go there I really needed this YouTube channel to grow. And then I was presented with data, information that showed me how actually crucial clicking those buttons down there is, and how important it is for me to let people know that I'm serious about where I'm going. But then I touched that space where I realized that actually the reason why I was so allergic to that statement, hearing it and saying it, was because I didn't really feel comfortable publicly, clearly, in a loud and understandable way, letting anybody know what is it that I want and need. And that was a chocolate bar broken moment of me realizing that that was the reason why I despised it, because I didn't feel comfortable being open about what is it that I want and need. And once when I became aware of it, I was able to utilize it. I was able to say it. I was able to pronounce it. I was able to practice saying it to see how I feel about it. And I was also able to choose not to do so if I don't want to. But I was also able to notice for the first time after a while how some other creators are able to deliver it in a way that is energetically balanced throughout this whole video that they're making, no matter what they're doing. Really doesn't matter. I disappeared. I think I was at the part where this was like an energetic structure of a video where a creator provides something and it says, this is what I do for you. And then there's this short portion of the video where they say, this is what I want you to do for me. I'm satisfying your needs and these are my needs. So it comes down to really healthy communication of how you say it, where it's not too much, or it's not like, I'm demanding this for you, you have to do it, otherwise, I don't know. And it's also not, oh, please, please do it, because if you don't do it, then please, please, please. Like, there's no like scarcity, there's no demanding, it's just your needs, my needs. This is what I do for you, this is what I would like you to do for me. That's kind of in the template of the energy that I see with this chocolate bar being broken so that you can eat it. Is there another example that I could use? Seeing somebody for a very long... Somebody? Seeing somebody. Seeing somebody, let's go with that. I wanted to say seeing something as a really bad thing for a prolonged period of time, because it appears to be so. And then realizing that the reason why you've seen them or that situation in a way that you did is because you were calibrated against the value of it. So, now another example came in. Let's say you want to be super successful in whatever you're doing. You just want it, but you're not fully comfortable with having it and being it and doing it. Like you don't have time in your schedule, you don't have mindset, you don't have determination, you don't have skill, you don't have whatever it needs that you need to have in order to be super successful at it. You just want it. And so if you are not really calibrated to having it and you're not aware of it, then when you get an opportunity to have it, you will be very repulsed by it. You know, somebody might come to you and be like, hey, I would like to give you an opportunity to be super successful. And your reaction might be like, ugh, why are you here? No, thanks, just leave. Oh my God, so annoying. Something like that. And then you realize that the reason why you were so annoyed by this person that came with an opportunity to make you super successful is because you were not in sync with being super successful. You weren't able to take that opportunity, hold it, and actually do something with it. And then that's the moment of chocolate bar being broken, because you might have spent quite some time being in this position of, yeah, I want to be super successful, but not really doing anything to get yourself more in alignment with that. You might have spent years, decades, lifetime even. And now that is being broken so that you can realize, that was keeping me away, so that now you can move towards what it is that you want. think that was... we humans, we sometimes deliberately, not deliberately, I would say, but there is definitely a degree of choice. We choose to recreate dynamics that were keeping us stuck, that were hurting us, that maybe even our parents had. And our parents might be like done and over, you know, like they graduated already, but for some reason the energy that they had when you were growing up with them happens to be with you right here right now somehow, and you are having the same questions and the same riddles that they had, and they solved them. And they can be like, yeah, you know, like I solved this riddle already, I can tell you the solution, but it doesn't really work this way. They can tell you what to do, but that energy is still somehow within you, and you need to find your own solution that might be a little bit different than what they have already found for themselves. So we kind of tend to recreate the dynamics and circumstances and situationships in order to really understand and find our own solutions to things, so that we don't have to repeat them anymore. And we repeat things for as long as we have to, until we don't anymore. I think that also a little bit speaks to that feeling of, I'm not that person that I was up until yesterday. Maybe there was something that happened yesterday that you had to experience in order to understand why you had to experience it, so that you don't have to be that person today again. I felt the energy suddenly going into like, oh, look at that weather outside. Yeah. Mission is possible. Yeah, sliding. That level of you catching up to your future self very rapidly. It's like it happens at a faster pace than ever before. It's like something that was your ideal in terms of you dreamed about it is something that you can make it happen like now. It feels like sliding. It feels like skating. It feels like, yeah, it's like, it's smooth. It's like roller skating on the smooth asphalt. It's a pleasure. It's a no obstacle. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave it here. I hope this was helpful. If it did resonate, if it did speak to you in whatever way, shape or form, I love hearing about it, I love reading about it, I love seeing it in the comment section. So please I'm gonna live in Finland someday. So in order for me to live in Finland someday, please do like, comment and subscribe. I am not joking when I say that I want to live in Finland someday, and my YouTube channel is one of the ways of how I really want to make it happen for myself. So I would really kindly, not kindly, but I would, what was I trying to say? I would kindly ask, but no, I would appreciate if you do help me make that happen. Thank you for being here, thank you for your time, thank you for your attention, thank you for co-creating this painting with me, and thank you for co-creating this channel with me.